Alright then, go on, like and subscribe, you know the drill. Where are you watching or listening from right now, and what time is it for you? Because for us, well, for you, it's London 1870. The gas lamps are flickering outside, casting long, dancing shadows on the cobbled streets, painting the city in shades of sepia and grey. But inside, in this quiet, ornate dressing room, a different kind of tension is building, a quiet drama played out in the still air, promising beauty, delivering something else entirely. You shiver not from cold, but from a prickle of anticipation that crawls up your spine. The morning air, though warmed by a crackling fire, still carries a crisp edge, and the scent of rosewater and laundered linen hangs heavy. You're standing, half-dressed, in a shift of fine cotton, the soft fabric doing little to fend off the vulnerability you feel. Your maid, a woman with a practical, unsmiling face, hovers close, her hands already reaching for the formidable garment laid out on the chaise lounge, your corset. It's an architectural marvel, really. Gleaming white satin, intricately stitched with dozens of rigid steel bones running through it, glinting dully in the gaslight. It looks less like clothing and more like a piece of elaborate armor, designed not for protection, but for transformation. You feel the cool, smooth fabric against your skin as she positions it, wrapping it around your torso. It's a familiar weight, a promise, and a burden all at once. The first hooks are fastened, a series of precise clicks, and already you feel its embrace, firm but not yet restrictive. Then comes the lacing. The maid takes hold of the long silk cord, pulling the loops methodically. The first tug is gentle, a subtle compression that tightens your waist. You take a breath, a full, deep one, knowing it might be the last truly unhindered breath you'll manage for hours. She pulls again, with more force this time, and you feel your ribs begin to shift, to draw inward, responding to the relentless pressure. Your posture straightens, almost involuntarily, pulling your shoulders back, lifting your chin. You catch your reflection in the full-length mirror, a nascent silhouette taking shape, already more defined, more artificial. With each subsequent pull, the pressure intensifies. It's no longer just firm, it's a relentless squeeze. You can feel the steel bones digging in, molding your flesh, your very structure. Your breath becomes shallower, catching in your throat, a series of half-sighs that struggle to fill your lungs. You focus on the slow, steady rhythm of the maid's hands, the way her knuckles whiten with effort. Her gaze is fixed on the laces, on the task, unwavering. You try to draw a deeper breath, but it catches, a sharp, shallow gasp trapped in your throat. Your lungs, they feel like deflating balloons, their space stolen, crushed. And then, as the laces are pulled one final, ruthless time, you hear it, or perhaps you just feel it, a distinct, dry snap, a tiny internal protest. Not quite a bone, but the sensation is unmistakable, a fleeting echo of wood cracking deep within your ribcage as everything shifts and settles into an impossible, unnatural shape. It's a sound of surrender, a whisper of something breaking to create something else. You look at yourself in the mirror again, the transformation is complete, your waist is impossibly small, a tiny pedestal for your full bust. You look elegant, poised, but inside you feel trapped, your body a prisoner in its own skin. The pain is a dull ache now, a constant companion. It's the price, you realize, the silent contract between beauty and discomfort, between expectation and endurance. And as you stand there barely breathing, you understand the strange, compelling truth of it all, how readily we bend and even break for the illusion of perfection. You push open the drawing room door, the heavy velvet swishing against your voluminous skirt, and step into a scene painted in vibrant gaslight and hushed elegance. The air immediately envelops you, thick with the cloying sweetness of lilies, the sharp zest of lemon polish, and the faint, earthy scent of damp earth from the potted ferns. It's a sensory assault, yet strangely muted, as if the very corset squeezing your ribs has dulled the edges of the world. Every movement is a deliberate exercise in rigid grace, a careful, almost architectural negotiation between your body and the unyielding steel encasing your torso. You can't quite bend, can't quite slump, forced into an unnaturally upright posture that broadcasts impeccable elegance, even as it silently broadcasts a constant, underlying throb of discomfort. Your eyes scan the room, taking in the familiar faces, the polite, almost practiced smiles, the subtle nods of recognition. You feel their glances slide over you, appraising your silhouette, the impossibly tiny waist, the proud, elevated bust, the smooth, unbroken line of your gown. There's an undeniable approval in their gazes, a silent acknowledgement that you've met the day's stringent aesthetic demands. It's a strange, unspoken currency, this perfectly sculpted form, this artful constriction. You feel less like a person of flesh and blood and more like a finely crafted ornament, placed just so, admired for your flawless, unnatural lines, a living statue of idealized womanhood. You attempt a slight curtsy as a society matron offers a fleeting smile. The movement is awkward, constrained, your entire upper body acting as a single, unyielding block of satin and steel. Your breath catches, a fleeting panic as you realize how little space there is for a truly full inhale, how shallow your breaths must remain. Yet you maintain the serene facade, a practiced mask of composure that never quite cracks. This steel cage isn't merely about making you beautiful, it's a profound social promise. A promise of respect, of undeniable status, of desirability in a world where appearance is paramount. It's the invisible price of entry into this rarefied, glittering sphere, a constant, tangible reminder of the exacting expectations placed upon you. The refined chatter around you hums, a distant, muffled sound, as if you're underwater or perhaps simply too far removed by the relentless pressure on your senses. You feel a strange, almost ethereal detachment, as if the corset has not only reshaped your physical form, but has also built a subtle, intangible wall around your very perception, dampening everything but the persistent internal thrum of its embrace. It's a silent, powerful conversation this garment conducts, speaking volumes about your adherence to convention, your dedication to the prevailing ideals of feminine grace and societal order. You understand with a weary knowing acceptance that this pervasive discomfort, this perpetual low-grade ache, is simply the ongoing cost of that social promise. It's a bargain struck, a deliberate trade of genuine bodily comfort and ease for a carefully constructed, publicly affirmed ideal. And for now you play your part, trapped and triumphant, beautiful and suffering all at once. You reach out, your fingers hesitating for a moment before touching the fabric. It's a green unlike any other you've seen, a shocking, vibrant emerald that seems to pulse with an almost unnatural light, daring you to look away. But as your skin brushes against it, a faint, almost imperceptible dust lifts, carrying with it a peculiar, acrid scent. It's sharp, metallic, a smell that prickles the back of your throat, mingling oddly with the usual aroma of starch and fine textiles. You pull the dress over your head, the heavy silk sliding down your body, the green cascading around you like a wave. Immediately, a curious warmth spreads across your shoulders and décolletage where the fabric settles. It's not unpleasant at first, more like a mild flush. But then, as you adjust the sleeves, a faint itch begins, a subtle tingle just beneath the surface of your skin. It's insistent, a crawling sensation that travels from your wrists up your arms, spreading wherever the lustrous green fabric makes contact. You glance at your maid, her expression unreadable as she fastens the hooks at your back, her fingers moving with practiced efficiency, her face perhaps a touch too pale in the glow of the gaslight. She doesn't comment on the color's vibrancy or the peculiar sheen it casts on the air around you. You move to the mirror, the dress rustling with a dry, papery sound. The green is mesmerizing, turning your complexion into something almost ethereal, highlighting the paleness that is so prized. Yet the persistent itch intensifies, becoming a definite bite, a growing irritation that feels as if tiny, unseen insects are crawling over your skin. Your head begins to ache, a dull throb behind your eyes, and a sudden, inexplicable dizziness washes over you, making the room tilt for a moment. You press a hand to your forehead, the skin feeling unusually warm. This dazzling, captivating green, so coveted, so admired, is not just adorning you. It feels as if it's silently, subtly consuming you from the outside in. You realize this breathtaking beauty comes with a silent, insidious cost, a slow, unseen poison seeping into your very being, demanding a strange, beautiful sacrifice. And for the sake of that dazzling appearance, you stand, enduring the biting green. The sheer volume of sound hits you first, a wave of laughter, chatter, and the vibrant swell of a waltz orchestra, all mingling with the heavy perfume of dozens of different floral arrangements. You step further into the ballroom, the air thick and warm clinging to your skin, making the insistent itch of your emerald dress feel suddenly more pronounced, more alive. The dazzling gaslight fixtures overhead cast a golden glow, illuminating a swirling kaleidoscope of silks and satins. But it's your asterisk green that draws the eye, a vivid, almost aggressive hue that stands out in the elegant crowd, shimmering like a precious jewel. You feel a subtle tremor run through you, a blend of excitement and an unsettling fragility. The corset, a familiar iron grip, feels tighter than usual in the heat, making your breaths shallow, inadequate. But it's the dress, this glorious, biting green, that truly commands your attention. Each swirl of your skirt, each slight shift of your weight as you navigate the throng, releases a whisper of that acrid, metallic scent, almost imperceptible to others, but sharp and distinct to you. It's like a secret conversation between you and the fabric, a silent acknowledgement of its potent beauty. A gentleman bows before you, his gaze lingering on the vibrant color of your gown, a look of unmistakable admiration in his eyes. You offer a small, practiced smile, your head feeling oddly light, a persistent throb behind your temples escalating with the music's rhythm. As he takes your hand to lead you into the waltz, your fingers brush against his, and you notice a faint, almost translucent green residue clinging to your skin, transferring from the dress. It's a chilling detail, barely visible but starkly real. The dance begins, a graceful, dizzying circle. With every turn, the pressure on your ribs intensifies and a wave of nausea rolls through you, making the glittering room spin a little too fast. You try to focus on the steps, on the polite, smiling faces around you, but the world feels distorted, muffled by the relentless throb in your head and the unsettling, pervasive itch across your skin. You know you are beautiful, undeniably striking, the center of many admiring glances. This dress, this color, it commands attention, yet beneath the dazzling facade, a subtle dread unfurls within you. The metallic taste in your mouth is growing stronger now, almost metallic, and the air feels heavy despite the grandeur. You are a vision, a perfect specimen of Victorian elegance, a living embodiment of fashion's most daring, most breathtaking trends. But as the music swells, you feel a peculiar sense of being both the observed and the slowly dissolving. The true cost of this captivating beauty, you realize with a sickening clarity, is not just a little discomfort, but a slow, insidious surrender to the very art that makes you so brilliantly, dangerously captivating. The starch is so heavy, you can almost hear it crackle as you lift the collar. It's blindingly white, a stark contrast to the dark wool of your suit, and stiff as a board, unyielding, almost defiant in its rigid perfection. A faint, clean smell of soap and lye rises from it, a smell that speaks of immaculate laundries and endless scrubbing. You slide it around your neck, a surprisingly intricate maneuver that requires precision. It's not just a piece of fabric. It's an architectural marvel of enforced formality. Your valet, a silent, precise man whose hands always seem to know exactly what they're doing, tightens the stud at the back. There's a soft, almost inaudible click and then a profound change. You feel it immediately, a sudden, powerful constriction around your throat. It's not painful, not exactly, but it's an undeniable pressure, a constant reminder of its presence. Your Adam's apple feels suddenly trapped, your larynx held in a vice. You try to swallow and it's an effort, a conscious push against the unyielding band of starched cotton. You turn your head slowly, a deliberate, measured movement. No sudden jerks, no casual glances over your shoulder. The collar dictates your posture, forcing your chin up, your gaze level, almost imperious. It feels as if your head is no longer an independent entity, but rather an extension of your torso, rigidly held in place. Your breath becomes shallower, less natural. Each inhale feels like a small struggle, the air catching somewhere high in your chest before it can properly fill your lungs. It's like breathing through a narrow straw, constant but never quite satisfying. You glance at your reflection in the polished wardrobe mirror. The effect is undeniable. You look sharp, authoritative, every inch the respectable gentleman. The collar elevates your status, projects an image of unwavering self-control and meticulous adherence to decorum. It's a powerful statement, this stark white band, signaling your position in a world built on appearances. Yet beneath the impeccable exterior, a subtle tension buzzes. Your neck muscles are stiff, strained, constantly working against the fabric. A faint warmth begins to spread across your throat, a low-grade irritation from the relentless friction. This collar, so essential for respectability, so vital for projecting the right image, feels like a silent, slow strangulation. It's a bizarre trade, you realize, this daily sacrifice of comfort and easy breath for the unyielding embrace of social expectation. You are perfectly presented, utterly formal and subtly, irrevocably diminished in your own body. You step into the hushed, cavernous space of the gentleman's club, the heavy oak door swinging shut behind you with a soft, authoritative thud. The air inside is thick with the scent of aged leather, pipe tobacco, and faint traces of old brandy, a rich, masculine tapestry of smells. Sunlight filtered through tall, leaded windows casts long, dusty shafts across worn velvet armchairs and towering bookshelves. Everything here speaks of permanence, of tradition, of an unyielding order. And you, in your impeccably tailored suit and unforgiving collar, are very much a part of that architecture. The stiff collar which you wrestled into submission earlier still bites at your throat, a constant low-grade discomfort. It's a silent sentinel, forcing your head into an unnaturally rigid position. Your waistcoat, snug and buttoned, restricts your torso, demanding a controlled, almost militaristic posture. Every movement feels deliberate, constrained. You try to take a deep breath, but it catches, a shallow, unsatisfying gasp against the unyielding fabric and the heavy wool of your jacket. It's a uniform, yes, but also a cage, beautifully crafted. You navigate the room, a subtle nod here, a brief, formal inclination of the head there. Other men, identically clad in their dark suits and stark white collars, return your gestures with similar gravitas. There's an unspoken language here, a powerful camaraderie of shared discomfort and shared authority. Their gazes are direct, appraising, recognizing the uniform of masculine sobriety you wear. It's not about personal expression. It's about a collective identity, a visual declaration of respectability and power. You observe the slight stiffness in another man's neck as he turns, the way his shoulders remain squared, immovable, even as he gestures with a hand. You see yourself reflected in their stoic adherence. You find a quiet corner picking up a newspaper, its crisp pages rustling softly. The act of simply lowering your head to read is a small challenge. You can't just slump. The collar forbids it, pressing into your jawline with insistent pressure. You lift the paper higher, closer to your eyes, a slight tremor in your hands. A dull ache begins to throb at the base of your skull, a subtle protest from muscles held too taut for too long. This uniform, you understand, is a performance. It's a constant, silent assertion of control, not just over your appearance, but over your very body, your very breath. And in this world, where men build empires and shape destinies, this peculiar blend of restraint and discomfort is the very essence of their power, a self-imposed burden willingly borne for the privilege of command. You step out and it feels as if you've instantly doubled in size. The crinoline, a skeletal dome of steel hoops and cotton tapes, rustles and sways with every tiny shift of your weight, a constant, whispering presence around your legs. It's light, surprisingly so, but the sheer volume it creates is astonishing. The heavy silk of your gown cascades over it, brushing against the floorboards with a soft, sweeping hiss, a sound that immediately announces your arrival, your presence wherever you go. You feel strangely detached from your own lower body, as if your legs are simply guiding a magnificent, artificial bell. Trying to simply walk down the narrow hallway feels like a bizarre dance. You have to turn your body sideways to navigate the door frame, feeling the crinoline compress against the wood with a dull thud, then spring back with a gentle bounce once you're through. It's like being in a constant, low-stakes struggle with the inanimate world. The walls seem closer, the furniture suddenly an obstacle course. You have to consciously remember the vast, invisible space you now occupy, the bubble of fabric and air that extends out from your waist in every direction. Other people subtly shift, stepping aside as you approach, an unspoken acknowledgement of the physical dominance your garment commands. You attempt to sit on a delicate drawing room chair. It's a performance in itself. You can't just sit. You have to back up, position yourself just so, then carefully lower your body, feeling the crinoline fold and bend beneath you, pushing the skirts outwards in an even grander display. The steel hoops press uncomfortably into the backs of your thighs, a cool, unyielding pressure. It's a physical challenge to maintain an air of effortless grace. Every casual gesture becomes calculated. Reaching for a teacup requires a slight lean, a stretch that pulls at the restrictive corset above and strains against the wide expanse of the crinoline below. Yet there's a strange power in it too, you realize. This cumbersome cage, this constant physical negotiation, creates a sphere of personal space that is utterly inviolable. No one can come too close without intruding on your sartorial domain. You are shielded, distanced, encased in a moving architectural statement. It is a world you navigate with an unnatural, sweeping majesty, a silent declaration of status and adherence. And as you subtly adjust your posture, feeling the familiar press of the hoops, you understand that this elaborate, rigid structure isn't just about fashion. It's about defining your very place in the world, however cumbersome, however confining, however magnificent that place might be. You step out onto the bustling pavement and the immediate world shrinks around you. The crinoline, a wide, rigid cage beneath layers of silk, makes every passage a negotiation, every corner a strategic challenge. You feel its sheer bulk, a constant swaying presence around your legs, like a phantom limb that extends far beyond your physical body. A faint, dry rustle accompanies your every step, a distinct sound that seems to push against the constant murmur of the street, the distant clatter of hooves, and the chatter of passers-by. Suddenly, as you attempt to navigate a narrow gap between a street vendor's stall and a slow-moving gentleman, the crinoline snags. There's a sharp asterisk clink as one of the steel hoops catches on something unseen, followed by a slight, almost comical boing as it springs back into place, forcing you to momentarily lose your balance. A flash of irritation crosses the face of the man you've inadvertently brushed against, his eyes flicking down to your voluminous skirts before he huffs, skirts around you, and hurries on. It's a constant, low-grade battle, this interaction with the world. Your personal space isn't just personal, it's an engineered obstacle, a moving barrier that demands respect and causes inconvenience in equal measure. Attempting to enter a bustling milliner's shop, you find yourself almost turning sideways, the crinoline folding with an audible protest as you squeeze through the doorway, feeling the heavy fabric drag along the door frame. Inside, the shop is a riot of feathers and ribbons, but also of tightly packed display tables. You can't simply walk, you must glide, pivot, and weave, your wide skirt acting like a living broom, sweeping any loose trinkets from low shelves. You see a delicate bonnet you wish to examine, but it's just beyond your reach, trapped between your voluminous form and the crowded display. You try to lean, to stretch, but the crinoline anchors you, its hoops pressing uncomfortably into your shins, a frustrating, unyielding cage. The shop assistant, a young woman with weary eyes, waits patiently as you perform this peculiar dance of approach and retreat, her gaze conveying a silent understanding of the daily farce. You are a spectacle, an object of beauty and an architectural marvel, but also a constant, living impediment. The elaborate structure around you, designed to create an aura of untouchable grace, ironically renders you utterly impractical. It's a strange paradox, this forced distance. You are encased in a magnificent bubble of personal space, yet it's a space that constantly clashes with the very world it's meant to dignify. And in that moment, you feel the profound absurdity of being so visibly, gloriously present, yet so physically restricted, a beautiful, inconvenient monument to fashion. The heavy, dull fabric is draped over your arms, thick and unyielding, a material woven from sorrow itself. You lift the black crepe, feeling its unexpected weight, a dense, coarse weave that absorbs all light. A peculiar, almost dusty smell rises from it, a scent of closed rooms and solemnity, mingling with the faint, cloying sweetness of fading funeral lilies that still linger in the hushed air of the dressing room. You pull the veil over your bonnet, feeling the scratchy texture brush against your forehead and cheeks as it falls into place. Suddenly, the world darkens, plunging into a muted charcoal grey haze. Your vision is instantly obscured, everything softening at the edges, the sharp lines of furniture blurring into indistinct shapes. It's like looking through a thick fog, or perhaps like being submerged in deep, dark water. The heavy folds of crepe settle, pressing down around your face, trapping the warmth of your own breath. You feel an immediate, profound sense of stifling. The air grows hot and still beneath the layers, each breath feeling shallow, labored, as if you're constantly fighting against a soft, persistent smothering. You try to move, to stand, but the sheer volume of fabric, the heavy dress, the voluminous skirt, and now this dense veil, creates an immense physical burden. Your shoulders ache with the unfamiliar weight pulling you down. Even the sound of your own footsteps is muffled, absorbed by the crepe, and the hushed murmurs from the next room seem distant, distorted. You are encased, physically cut off from the vibrant world, separated by this dense black barrier. It's a profound isolation, a silent declaration of your unbearable grief made visible to the world, yet leaving you utterly alone within it. You touch your veiled cheek, feeling the rough fabric against your skin, the warmth of your trapped breath condensing subtly. The constant battle for air, the pressure, the oppressive heat, it's a physical manifestation of the emotional weight you carry. This veil isn't just an accessory, it's a living, breathing symbol of your sorrow, a suffocating enclosure that dictates not only how you appear, but how you perceive, how you breathe, and how you feel. It is a tangible, relentless grief, woven into every heavy, dark thread. The thick, heavy folds of crepe still cling to your face, damp with your own breath, blurring the edges of the solemn room. The scent of lilies and damp earth is still present, but now it mixes with the faint, metallic tang of the black dye from your dress, a subtle bitterness that catches in your throat. Through the dense netting of your veil, you watch other figures move phantom-like in the muted light, each one a dark, indistinct silhouette. Every person here, like you, is draped in black, a uniform of sorrow, a shared, silent declaration of loss. You feel the collective weight of it, not just the physical burden of your own heavy garments, but the pervasive atmosphere of enforced grief. It's a silent pressure, palpable in the air, echoing the long, unwavering shadow cast by the Queen herself, perpetually cloaked in black. Her enduring sorrow has shaped an entire generation, transforming personal pain into a stringent social dictate. You see a woman pass, her widow's cap stark white against the deepest black, her face obscured by an even heavier veil than your own, a perfect, somber tableau. It's a performance, you realize, meticulously choreographed, commercially driven. Later, as you leave, you pass by shop windows draped entirely in black fabric, displaying jet jewelry, black lace and somber bonnets, all specifically designed for the various stages of mourning. It's an entire industry thriving on heartache, providing the exact fabric, the precise depth of black, the appropriate cut for every degree of loss. You feel the rough wool of your dress brush against your gloved hands, the constant friction a physical reminder of your status, your adherence. Your head still aches, a dull throb behind your eyes, and the air beneath your veil is thick and stifling, trapping your breaths. This isn't just about feeling grief, it's about showing it publicly, unequivocally, following a rigid code that permeates every aspect of society. You are a walking, breathing testament to that code, a living advertisement for an industry built on death. The crushing weight of the crepe, the stifling heat, the obscured vision, it's all part of the mandated performance, a testament to how deeply sorrow has been woven into the very fabric of Victorian life, shaping not just your outward appearance, but your very capacity to breathe and see the world around you. The drawing room is aglow with 100 flickering candle flames, each a tiny, dancing orb of light, making the crystal chandeliers sparkle like frozen tears. You move through the soft murmur of conversation, your muslin gown a cloud of delicate white around you, lighter than air, almost ethereal. It barely whispers as you turn, its fine, sheer fabric catching the subtle currents of air. The scent of beeswax and warm velvet fills the room, a rich, comforting aroma. You laugh, a light, carefree sound and gesture with a hand. Without thinking, you pivot, a gentle swirl of your voluminous skirt. Suddenly, a rush of unexpected heat blasts against your leg. It's too close, too sharp. Your eyes dart down, and in that instant you see it, a tiny, voracious orange tongue licking at the delicate hem of your dress, a single candle flame. The muslin, dry and impossibly fine, doesn't just smolder, it whooshes upwards, a terrifying, greedy gasp of light. Panic seizes you, it's instantaneous, visceral. Your breath catches, shallow and sharp in your constricted chest, trapped by the corset. The dress, designed for beauty, now feels like a monstrous, expanding bloom of fire. You try to back away to beat at the flame, but the sheer volume of the crinoline makes you cumbersome, awkward. The heat is intense, searing, quickly spreading, and the smell of singed fabric, thick and acrid, fills your nostrils, making you choke. Faces turn, their expressions shifting from polite interest to wide-eyed horror. You are a pillar of light, no longer just a woman in a dress, but a terrifying, living torch wrapped in fire. The delicate muslin, once so beautiful, so flattering, has become a deadly shroud, a cruel trap. The world narrows to the consuming roar of the flames, the terrifying speed of their ascent. This ethereal beauty, this prized lightness, is now your terrifying undoing, a fleeting, exquisite dream turning into a raging nightmare, all because of one careless, beautiful flicker. The faint, acrid smell of burnt sugar still seems to cling to the very air, a ghostly echo of yesterday's terror, mingling now with the crisp, dry scent of newsprint. You hold the newspaper, its pages rustling like dried leaves, a stark headline screaming up at you not about your near miss, but another, almost identical tragedy. Tragic blaze claims young ballerina, flammable muslin ignites on stage. Your fingers trace the stark black letters, feeling the rough texture of the paper. It's a chilling reminder, a cold dread twisting in your gut, yet outside your window, the world carries on, seemingly oblivious. You recall the whispers, the hushed tales circulating through drawing rooms and theatres. Not just one but many. Young women consumed by fire, their delicate, airy dresses turning into infernos with a single spark from a lamp, a fireplace, or a carelessly placed candle. You see the illustration accompanying the article, a haunting outline of a dancer, her skirt a halo of flame, frozen in a final, terrifying pirouette. It's a macabre tableau, almost theatrical in its horror, yet it remains just a picture, a distant event, another unfortunate headline. You look around your own room at the fresh muslin gown awaiting its turn, pristine and innocent on the bed. Its sheer, lightweight fabric still holds that delicate, almost inviting appeal, promising grace and effortless movement. And yet you know its secret. You know how quickly it can ignite, how fiercely it can burn, how easily beauty can become devastation. There's a strange, unsettling disconnect between the stark reality described in the papers and the enduring allure of such dangerous fashion. It's as if society, mesmerized by the ephemeral beauty, willingly turns a blind eye to the devastating consequences. The corset, already laced, pulls at your ribs, a familiar discomfort that suddenly feels trivial compared to the fiery fate of those young women. Yet you know you will wear the muslin dress. You know others will too. The fashion, the desired silhouette, the allure of the delicate fabric, it all holds a sway that seems to defy logic, to override even the most horrifying warnings. It's a silent, collective agreement, a strange, persistent delusion that personal tragedy can be relegated to a distant headline, something that happens to others. And as you prepare for the day, for the next social engagement, you feel the profound, unsettling weight of that collective indifference, a silent testament to the enduring, dangerous power of beauty over reason. The insistent symphony of the street hits you first. The sharp clatter of hooves on cobblestones, the rumble of carriage wheels, the distant cries of street vendors, it all creates a chaotic, vibrant hum that pulls you straight into the thick of London life. You step out and the stiff taffeta of your walking skirt immediately makes its presence known, swishing with a dry, almost defiant sound around your legs. It's a constant, whispering companion, a soft friction that accompanies your every carefully placed footstep. It's not just a walk. It's a performance, each movement a deliberate effort to navigate the narrow pavement, to avoid snagging your voluminous skirts on railings or lamp posts. The tightly laced corset beneath your bodice pulls at your ribs, a familiar, ever-present pressure that makes deep breaths a luxury you cannot afford amidst the pungent smells of horse manure, coal smoke, and damp earth. You try to take a fuller breath, but it catches, a shallow, unsatisfying gasp against the unyielding structure. As you attempt to pass a group of gentlemen, their top hats gleaming, you feel the wide expanse of your crinoline brush lightly against one of their coats, eliciting a slight, involuntary flinch. There's an unspoken negotiation of space, a constant recalibration of your own formidable silhouette against the bustling flow of the city. Their eyes flick over your elegant form, acknowledging the effort, the display of a perfectly presented lady. You catch a glimpse of your reflection in a shop window, a graceful, sweeping figure, a vision of impeccable taste and feminine grandeur gliding through the grimy reality of London. Yet beneath the outward display, the rigid structure of your attire dictates every subtle shift, every calculated turn. It's a constant, low-grade physical battle, you realize, to present this flawless image, this moving monument of fashion. The sounds of the city merge with the constant rustle of your own clothing, creating a peculiar personal rhythm, a perpetual dance between presence and constraint, between the idealized self and the very real world it struggles to inhabit. The street is a bustling, cacophonous theater, a constant roar of distant traffic punctuated by sharper, closer sounds. You hear the rhythmic, almost militaristic asterisk clack-clack-clack of a gentleman's highly polished boots on the paving stones, each step announcing purpose, direction, and an unmistakable air of masculine authority. Then the duller, heavier thump-thump of a dray horse, its hooves muffled by the dirt, followed by the metallic clang and grind of its cart wheels, a sound of labor, of goods, of the city's ceaseless industry. Each distinct sound paints a vivid picture, revealing who is coming, what they are doing, and where they stand in this complex urban tableau. As you join this symphony, the taffeta of your own walking dress adds its unique contribution, a crisp, continuous asterisk swish-swish-swish with every movement of your legs, a sound that is undeniably feminine, a rustle of luxury and deliberate grace. Beneath it, the crinoline offers a softer, more expansive whisper asterisk, a silken sigh that subtly declares your presence, creating a wide sonic boundary around you. It's a sound that says, I am here and I require space. You feel the familiar, restrictive embrace of your corset, making your breathing shallow, almost inaudible, a stark contrast to the robust sounds of the street. You try to take a fuller breath, but it catches, a small, private struggle against the rigid steel. You notice others responding to these auditory cues. A street urchin accustomed to the city's rhythms veers sharply away from your approach, clearly interpreting the swish of your skirts and the quiet hum of your crinoline as a signal of high social standing, a boundary not to be crossed. Later, a pair of ladies, their own silks rustling, exchange a quick, assessing glance with you as you pass, their expressions acknowledging the shared language of fabric, status, and gender. Your movements are not just seen. They are heard, each sound a deliberate or perhaps subconscious broadcast of your identity, your class, your very intentions within this public sphere. This constant acoustic interplay defines your experience. The heavy, booming sounds of masculine endeavor and industry seem to dominate, yet your own delicate, rustling presence carves out its space, a persistent, melodic counterpoint. You realize that in this intricate dance of urban life, the sounds you produce, consciously or not, are as much a part of your presentation as the garments themselves. They are auditory markers announcing not just your arrival but your very essence, a silent, pervasive hum that defines your place, your power, and your careful, beautiful constraint in the clamor of the Victorian world. You lift your hand, a subtle, almost unconscious gesture towards your neck. The delicate, cloying sweetness of lily-of-the-valley perfume instantly rises to meet you. It's a carefully chosen scent, meant to project an air of immaculate freshness, a fragrant shield against the pervasive grit of London. But beneath its heady floral notes, a different, more insistent aroma is beginning to assert itself. It's a subtle musk, warm and undeniably earthy, a faint human hum that seems to grow stronger with each passing hour, creeping from your skin and clinging to the layers of your chemise. The oppressive heat of the drawing room, thick with gaslight and the press of other bodies, does little to help. Your corset, that relentless steel cage, traps the warmth against your torso, making your skin feel clammy and tight beneath the silk and satin. Every shallow breath you take, constrained by the lacing, feels heavy, laden with the merging scents. The lily of the valley, once so bright, now grapples with a slightly stale undercurrent, an odor that no amount of dabbing with scented water truly banishes from your personal sphere. You try a subtle shift for air, but your rigid gown forbids natural movement, locking the heat and scent in. You find yourself subtly aware of similar olfactory skirmishes in the air, a gentleman's rich cologne fighting a losing battle against his heavy wool suit's perspiration, a lady's rosewater battling an unyielding earthiness from hours of wear. It's a strange, unspoken truth of society, this constant olfactory masquerade. You catch your reflection in a polished mirror, seeing a vision of impeccable elegance. Yet within that exterior, there's this quiet, persistent battle of scents, a low-grade discomfort that hints at the raw body beneath all the finery. It's a testament to the stubborn, inescapable reality of the human form, an intimate secret beneath layers of societal expectation. Even the most exquisite perfume, you realize, only masks, never erases, the fundamental truth of our living, breathing selves. You step out of the morning chill and into the warmth of Mrs. Albright's drawing room, and the air immediately assaults you. It's a heavy, cloying mix, thick with the sharp, almost medicinal scent of potpourri and a generous dousing of lavender water, all battling fiercely against something deeper, more human. Beneath the floral onslaught, a persistent, earthy smell of stale wool and unwashed skin clings to the very velvet of the curtains, a pervasive, underlying reality that no amount of fragrant essence can truly banish. You try to take a discreet, deep breath, but your corset holds firm, allowing only a shallow, inadequate gasp, your nostrils prickling with the contrasting aromas. The very air feels heavy, almost palpable, imbued with the invisible miasmas that everyone speaks of, the bad vapors believed to carry disease. And so everyone, including you, contributes to this fragrant battle, dabbing wrists with cologne, tucking scented sachets into clothes. Your own elaborate gown, despite being aired, carries the subtle ghosts of previous wear, a faint, personal musk beginning to assert itself beneath the more polite top notes of your chosen perfume. You feel the clammy warmth against your skin, knowing that beneath the pristine silk of your dress, beneath the layers of carefully chosen linen, your body is slowly, inevitably, accumulating its own distinct, unshakable scent. You observe the other ladies, their faces powdered, their hair carefully coiffed, their dresses magnificent. Yet as one leans in to whisper a confidence, you catch a fleeting whiff of something beyond her rosewater, a faint, almost metallic tang, a testament to hours of wear, of trapped heat, of human exertion. Their outward appearance is one of unimpeachable elegance, a pristine facade, but beneath it a quiet, unseen battle wages, a constant struggle against the body's own natural effluvium. It's an unspoken agreement, this collective illusion of cleanliness. Everyone plays their part, presenting a polished, deodorized self to the world, armed with perfumes and scented waters, all to ward off an invisible threat. And as you subtly fan yourself with a small lace fan stirring the perfumed air, you realize the profound irony of it all. You might mask the smells, you might believe you are safe from the unseen dangers of the air, but the very act of striving for this ideal of purity often only highlights the inescapable, intimate truth of our human selves, a truth that no amount of fragrance can truly hide. You feel the heavy, plush velvet of your Sunday suit press against your skin, already too warm even before the first button is fastened. It smells faintly of camphor and childhood, a peculiar mix of preservation and fleeting innocence. Your governess, her fingers precise and unyielding, works at the fastenings, each one a small metallic click that echoes the growing constriction around your small frame. The fabric is thick, dense, absorbing all movement, all spontaneity. First, the stays, a miniature version of a lady's corset, are tightened, pulling your little chest back, squaring your shoulders. You take a shallow breath, feeling the firm, almost painful embrace around your ribs. Then the velvet jacket, stiffly starched, is pulled on, the heavy material falling into unyielding lines. The lace cuffs, crisp and scratchy, chafe against your wrists, and the high collar pinches at your throat, forcing your chin up, almost awkwardly. You try to wriggle to shift your weight, but the layers of fabric, the rigid lining, the very weight of the suit hold you captive. You eye the wooden soldier on the floor, its bright red uniform calling for adventure, for a vigorous charge across the rug. Your fingers itch to grasp it, to make it leap and battle, but the thought of bending, of kneeling, feels impossible, a contortion your encased body simply won't permit. Any sudden movement feels clumsy, constrained, a constant battle against the material that stubbornly refuses to yield. Your governess offers a stern glance, a silent reminder that a well-behaved child, a little adult, exhibits perfect stillness, impeccable posture. The air beneath the heavy velvet grows warm, almost suffocating, trapping the slight dampness of your skin. A prickle of irritation, an unscratchable itch, begins on your neck where the starched collar meets your skin. You feel a profound frustration, a quiet, simmering anger at the inability to simply be, to run, to jump, to play as your spirit yearns. This elaborate, beautiful suit, designed to present you as a miniature gentleman, a perfect reflection of your parents' standing, feels like a velvet cage. It's a strange bargain, this early lesson, where the weight of expectation and the discomfort of formality begin to shape not just your outward appearance, but the very urges of your unburdened, playful heart. You sit stiff and unmoving on the edge of the drawing room settee, the heavy velvet of your dress prickling against your bare arms. The air, thick with the scent of polished wood and lilies, feels oddly still around you, almost oppressive. Your stays, those miniature corsets designed to make a lady of you, press firmly against your ribs, making each breath a conscious, shallow effort. You can hear the distant, joyous shouts of children playing outside, a faint, exhilarating sound that barely penetrates the thick walls, and certainly not the layers of your restricting attire. Your small hands, encased in delicate lace mittens, rest demurely in your lap. You want to fidget, to swing your legs, to run to the window and press your nose against the glass, but the stays hold you rigid, and the voluminous skirt of your dress would make any spontaneous movement a clumsy, undignified affair. You feel the watchful gaze of your mother from across the room, a subtle glance that reinforces the silent command, "Be still, be proper." This elaborate dress, with its intricate lacework and heavy silk, isn't just clothing. It's a silent instructor, teaching you to suppress every childish impulse, every natural urge to simply be asterisk. The tightness around your chest isn't just physical. It feels as though it's pressing down on your very spirit, stifling the laughter and the wild urges within. You imagine the other children free to tumble and shout, their clothes yielding to every joyful leap. Here, in your adult mimicking finery, you are expected to be miniature, quiet perfection. The desire to wriggle, to explore, to simply be a child, twists into a frustrated knot in your stomach. It's a daily lesson in restraint, in the art of stillness, of pretending to be older, wiser, calmer than your years allow. You learn to observe, to listen, to internalize. You learn that comfort is secondary to appearance, that spontaneity is a weakness, and that silence is a virtue. This fashion, this beautiful cage, is shaping you, molding not just your outward form, but the very essence of your childhood, teaching you early the quiet, arduous art of self-repression, preparing you for a world that demands composure above all else. And in that stillness, a part of you, the wild, free part, begins to fade, replaced by a demure, perfectly posed imitation. The gaslight above you flickers, a persistent hissing flame that casts long, dancing shadows across the mountains of fabric piled on the work table. The air around you is thick with the dry scent of raw silk, fine cotton dust, and the sharp, metallic tang of lamp oil. You're hunched over, your shoulders aching with the familiar curve, your eyes strained, focusing intently on the intricate lacework unfurling beneath your nimble fingers. The silence in the workroom is broken only by the soft, rhythmic scrape of your needle against taut fabric, a whispering sound of meticulous creation. You pull another length of thread, guiding the slender needle through layers of satin and lace, each stitch a tiny, perfect anchor. The delicate material feels cool and smooth, but your fingertips are rough, pricked raw from countless hours of work. Suddenly, a sharper sensation, a tiny searing pain as the needle slips, piercing the soft flesh of your thumb. You gasp, a small, involuntary intake of breath that catches in your throat, a familiar sting blossoming immediately. A bead of crimson, dark as claret in the dim light, wells up, a stark contrast against the pristine white of the silk. You quickly bring your thumb to your lips, the coppery taste of blood mingling with the dry dust on your tongue. No time for fuss. The client's ball gown, destined for a grand event, demands perfection, and the deadline looms like a dark cloud outside the window. Your eyes, already tired, squint harder in the flickering glow, straining against the shadows that dance across the intricate pattern. You feel the persistent throb in your finger, a small, private protest from your body against the relentless demands of the craft. Your back aches, a dull, constant companion, and your neck muscles feel like taut ropes, perpetually stretched. You glance at the clock on the wall, its steady tick a relentless march towards morning, so much more to do. This exquisite garment, destined to be admired for its flawless beauty, is born from unseen labor, from strained eyes and pricked fingers, from hours spent hunched in the dim gaslight. You push the thought away, focusing again on the fabric, on the tiny, perfect stitches. The beauty you create will be seen, celebrated, but the invisible price, the small, constant pain of its making, remains your own, a silent testament to the exquisite, demanding art of Victorian fashion. The sharp, stinging pain in your thumb persists, a vivid reminder of the needle's slip, the tiny puncture. You quickly bring your hand close to your body, pressing the wounded digit against a hidden scrap of cotton in your pocket, feeling the warmth of the fresh blood seep into the fabric. The coppery taste still lingers faintly on your tongue from where you instinctively licked the spot. This immaculate silk, this breathtaking gown destined for Lady Fitzwilliam's grand ball, must remain pristine. No trace, no crimson bloom can mar its unblemished surface, its promise of effortless beauty. The gaslight above casts a yellow glow, making the stark white fabric seem even more fragile, more demanding of perfection. You force your focus back to the intricate pattern, your eyes, already aching from hours of relentless concentration, squinting against the dimness. Each stitch is a whisper of precision, a tiny act of creation, yet now with the dull throb in your thumb, every push of the needle feels like a renewed threat, a constant, low-grade tension. The silk slides over your calloused fingertips, cool and smooth, but it no longer feels merely luxurious. It feels like a demanding taskmaster, silently dictating the rhythm of your movements, the unrelenting pace. Your shoulders are stiff, your back a dull, perpetual ache, a constant companion in these long, silent hours. Around you, other seamstresses are similarly hunched, their faces pale in the flickering light, their nimble fingers dancing over fabrics of every hue. You catch a fleeting glimpse of old Martha, her knuckles swollen with age, a small linen bandage wrapped tightly around one of her fingers. Her eyes meet yours for a brief moment, a silent, shared understanding passing between you, a knowledge of the invisible sacrifices, the countless small injuries, the relentless physical toll that goes into crafting such exquisite beauty. This is the unseen cost of elegance, the hidden labor that underpins every rustle of silk, every shimmer of satin. You hold up a section of the finished skirt, admiring the flawless drape, the intricate embroidery that seems to bloom under your hands. It is truly magnificent, a work of art. You imagine Lady Fitzwilliam effortlessly gliding through the ballroom, receiving compliments, radiating an air of untouchable grace. No one will know of the late nights, the strained eyes, the constant ache in your hands, the tiny prick of blood that nearly stained the silk. The garment will be celebrated for its perfection, its wearer admired for her impeccable taste. But you know the truth. that beneath the surface, woven into the very fabric of this breathtaking beauty, is the invisible trace of human effort, of small, unacknowledged pains, and the unspoken stories of those whose fingers created it, one meticulous, painstaking stitch at a time. The faint, delicate scent of kid leather, sharp yet somehow sweet, rises from the gloves as you pick them up. They look impossibly small, a second skin designed for elegance, not for warmth or dexterity. You begin the arduous process of pulling them on, a ritual that demands a surprising amount of effort. First one, then another. Your fingers fight against the unyielding material, pushing, straining. You feel the seams stretch taut almost painfully across your knuckles. It's a slow, deliberate struggle, each digit requiring its own careful coaxing into place. Once on, the effect is immediate and profound. Your fingers feel encased, prisoners in their own slender cells. A faint, tingling sensation begins almost instantly, a subtle hum of restricted blood flow. It's not outright pain, not yet, but a persistent, low-grade discomfort, a creeping numbness that starts at the tips and slowly makes its way down. You try to clench your hand to make a fist, but the tight leather resists, allowing only a stiff, constrained movement. The natural warmth of your skin is trapped, quickly turning into a humid, stifling envelope. You pick up your fan, its delicate ivory sticks feeling strangely alien, thick and unresponsive in your gloved hand. Your grip feels clumsy, uncertain, as if a layer of thick wool separates you from the object. You attempt a small, graceful flutter, but the movement is stiff, lacking the fluid snap it usually possesses. Your hands, usually so expressive, are now muted, their subtle gestures swallowed by the smooth, unyielding leather. A gentleman offers you a small calling card, and as you reach for it, you feel a distinct lack of sensation, the card a mere impression against the unfeeling surface of your glove. It's a strange detachment, a loss of direct connection to the world, yet you look at your hands in the mirror and the effect is undeniable. They are transformed, elongated, perfectly smooth, epitomizing refined grace. The slight swelling of your fingers, the pallor where the leather presses, it's all hidden, unseen beneath the elegant facade. This accessory, designed for beauty and propriety, silently exacts its price, slowly stealing away your tactile connection to the world, numbing your very fingertips in exchange for an immaculate appearance. It's a small, daily sacrifice, a curious trade-off between natural human sensation and the rigid demands of Victorian elegance. You feel the solid, undeniable weight of the chatelaine as it settles against your left hip, pulling at the waistband of your gown. It's a collection of gleaming silver chains, each one laden with miniature implements, tiny keys, a thimble, a small notebook, a pair of intricate scissors, all meticulously crafted. A faint metallic scent, cool and clean, rises from the polished silver, a stark contrast to the cloying perfume and stuffy air of the drawing room. With every step you take, a delicate, almost melodic jingle accompanies you, a constant, subtle announcement of your presence, and more importantly, your domain. It's a rhythmic, metallic whisper that follows you like a shadow, a physical manifestation of your daily responsibilities. The jingle isn't just noise, it's a language. The soft asterisk clink asterisk of the tiny keys suggests the pantry, the linen closet, the locked desk where household accounts are kept. The faint asterisk snip-snip of the small scissors reminds you of mending, of intricate needlework, of children's clothes needing attention. Your hand, still faintly numb from the tight kid gloves you donned earlier, instinctively reaches down, brushing against the cool metal. It's an unusual sensation, the delicate tools feeling almost alien through the restrictive leather, yet the weight itself is comforting in its familiarity, a tangible anchor to your role. You try to move with your usual elegant grace, but the chatelaine's weight makes a subtle yet persistent demand. Every pivot, every turn requires a slight adjustment, a conscious effort to prevent the chains from swinging too wildly, clattering against your crinoline or snagging on furniture. It's a delicate dance of control, a constant negotiation between your desired poise and the cumbersome reality of your accoutrements. As you navigate the crowded drawing room, offering polite smiles and brief, formal inclinations of your head, you feel the gazes of others falling not just on your perfectly laced corset or your voluminous skirts, but also on the gleaming silver at your hip. There's an undeniable respect in their eyes, an acknowledgement of the mistress of the house, the woman who holds the keys both literally and figuratively. You reach for a teacup, your gloved fingers feeling clumsy, less precise than usual. The chatelaine sways, the keys emitting a soft asterisk tinkle as you lean forward, a quiet interruption in the refined chatter. It's a beautiful burden, this display of domestic power. Each implement, each key speaks of a particular duty, a specific responsibility that falls squarely on your shoulders. It's a public performance of your role as the meticulous, capable manager of a household, a tangible symbol of your authority within the domestic sphere. And as you feel its reassuring, albeit heavy presence, you understand that this intricate ornament isn't just an accessory. It's a deeply ingrained part of your identity, a constant, jangling reminder of the carefully curated life you lead and the unseen power you wield within it. It's the weight of expectation, both external and internal, beautifully, painfully displayed. The chill of the air against your exposed skin is sudden, almost shocking, a stark contrast to the stifling warmth you've grown accustomed to beneath your layers of clothing. You feel the cool breeze whisper across your chest and back as your maid unlaces the corset, each release of a lacing a tiny sigh of relief, yet the air now bites at your bared skin. The room smells of stale linens, a faint hint of carbolic from the doctor's bag, and the underlying metallic tang of your own nervous perspiration. You sit on the edge of the bed, feeling unusually vulnerable, stripped of your usual rigid armor. The doctor, a man with a grave, unsmiling face and surprisingly gentle hands, approaches. His eyes, though professional, hold a certain gravity as they scan your bared torso. You feel the brush of his starched cuff against your shoulder as he reaches for his instrument. Then, the icy cold touch of the stethoscope, a small metallic disc, presses against your skin just below your collarbone. It's an unsettling invasion, a stark, unwelcome reality breaking through the carefully constructed facade of your daily life. The cold permeates, sending a shiver through your entire frame, despite the warmth of the room. He instructs you to breathe deeply. You try, but the effort is immense. Your lungs feel compressed, their natural capacity diminished, and your ribs, accustomed to the relentless pressure of the corset, feel strangely reluctant to expand fully. Each inhale is shallow, a struggle, and you hear the faint, hollow rasp of your own breathing, amplified by the instrument, a sound that feels foreign, almost alien to your own ears. The doctor's brow furrows slightly as he listens, his touch moving to a spot just above your ribs, his fingers gently probing, pressing against the familiar, subtle indentations that trace the path of your corset bones. You feel a faint tenderness there, a dull ache that has become so much a part of you you barely notice it anymore. But under his focused touch the pain asserts itself, a quiet, persistent throb. His fingers move, tracing the unnatural curve of your lower ribs, the slight, almost imperceptible displacement that has become your permanent shape. It's a silent, undeniable testament to the years of rigid lacing, the constant reshaping of your very bone structure. This beautiful, desired form, achieved through such meticulous effort, is revealed to be, under the cold, professional gaze of the doctor, a quiet deformation, a painful, irreversible alteration to the very core of your being. You realize that beneath the elegant lines, your body tells a silent, stark story of its own. The lingering chill of the doctor's stethoscope still seems to cling to your skin, a phantom coolness against your bared chest. You pull your shift back up, the soft cotton a flimsy shield against the sudden vulnerability you feel, but you can still sense the echoes of his probing fingers, the way they trace the unnatural curve of your ribs. The room, once hushed by his presence, now feels charged with a different kind of silence, a quiet weight hanging in the air after his grave departure. You can almost hear the unsaid words, the unspoken verdict. You know the whispers, you've heard the medical men debating in hushed tones at dinner parties, their concerns couched in scientific terms. They speak of compressed lungs, displaced organs, of spines bent and twisted, all in the pursuit of the perfect female form. It's a strange, unsettling paradox. Your waist, so admired, so meticulously shaped, is also in their professional estimation a site of subtle damage, a testament to beauty's cruel demands. You try to take a breath, a deep full one, but it still catches, a shallow, unsatisfying gasp that reminds you of your limited capacity. You catch your reflection in the looking glass, a fleeting image of your uncorseted torso. It seems almost alien, less defined, yet undeniably softer, more yielding. Your hand instinctively reaches to touch your side, feeling the faint, stubborn indentations where the steel bones once pressed, a permanent testament to their relentless grip. These are the marks, you realize, of a body meticulously sculpted, not by nature but by human design, by the dictates of fashion. This is the anatomy of a woman made perfect for society's gaze, but imperfect, subtly compromised for herself. A maid enters, her movements quiet and deferential, holding a fresh corset, its crisp lacing a silent harbinger of return to routine. You look at it, then back at your reflection, a profound weariness settling in your bones. The medical men may argue they may warn, but the world outside still demands the silhouette, the impossible shape. And so you understand with a quiet, almost resigned acceptance that your body remains a battleground, caught between the stark reality of its own limitations and the relentless, undeniable allure of society's beautiful, dangerous ideals. It's a truth that aches not just in your ribs but deep within, a quiet sorrow for what is lost for the sake of what is seen. The wool is coarse, scratchy against your skin, a familiar, unwelcome caress. You pull the heavy skirt over your head, feeling the thick, re-dyed fabric settle around your legs, its weight a dense, comforting shield against the biting morning chill. It smells faintly of wood smoke and damp earth, a scent that clings stubbornly to every thread, a testament to countless evenings by a meagre fire and mornings spent in the grey London fog. Your fingers trace a rough patch on the skirt, where a lighter, slightly greener shade of black wool has been painstakingly stitched into place, a visible scar of repair. You fasten the crude hooks of your bodice jacket, feeling the rough weave press against your thin chemise. There's no elegant lacing here, no steel bones to cinch your waist into an impossibly small circle. Instead, a simple, sturdy cord, coarsely tied at the back, offers a basic support, a functional rather than fashionable constriction. It's tight certainly, but a tightness born of necessity, of making the garment last, rather than conforming to an ideal silhouette. Your breath is free, deep and full, a stark contrast to the shallow gasps of the ladies in their elegant drawing rooms. You catch your reflection in the cracked shard of mirror by the door. No gleaming silks, no vibrant emeralds, just a dull, indeterminate shade of dark grey, a colour that has been dyed and re-dyed until its original hue is lost to memory. The fabric is heavy, practical, designed to keep out the cold, to withstand the daily grind. You feel the subtle chafing where the rough wool rubs against your neck, a familiar irritation that barely registers amidst the more pressing concerns of the day. This dress, this uniform of survival, tells a different story entirely. It speaks of endurance, of resilience, of a constant struggle against the elements. Each stitch, each patch is a testament to ingenuity, to making do with what little you have. It offers no grand display, no illusion of refined beauty. Instead, it offers warmth, protection, and the quiet dignity of a garment worn out of necessity, not vanity. And as you step out into the damp, bustling street, the rough wool your only armor against the indifferent city, you understand the profound difference in the language of fashion, the unspoken truths whispered by the very fabric against your skin. You hold the dress, its once vibrant indigo faded to a somber, muted blue, the silk stiff with the ghost of bygone elegance. A distinct scent rises from it, a curious blend of other people's lives. A faint hint of lavender, mingled with the dry smell of dust, and an undeniable, underlying dampness from its previous existence. Your fingers trace a delicate patch of worn velvet on the bodice, a testament to countless evenings worn by someone else, in a life far removed from your own. This isn't just a dress, it's a second-hand dream. You pull it on, feeling the coarse linen shift beneath it, a stark contrast to the luxurious fabric. There's no maid here, no gentle hands to expertly lace you into a steel-boned corset. Instead, you manage with a simple, well-worn set of stays, pulling the strings yourself, a functional constriction rather than a fashionable one. It pulls your shoulders back, flattening your form, a pale imitation of the ideal, but it's enough. The dress settles, a familiar weight against your skin, its heavy skirt rustling with a dry, papery sound, distinct from the elegant swish of fresh taffeta. You step out of the small, cramped room and into the dim, bustling thoroughfare of the market, the air thick with the smell of wet paving stones and stale fish. You see other women, their clothes a patchwork of re-dyed wool and patched cotton, their faces etched with the daily grind. But then your eye catches a flicker of green, a vivid memory of the costly, poisonous dye now muted and threadbare on another woman's shawl. And you see the flicker of aspiration in her eyes, the same quiet hope you feel in your own heart, that this second-hand finery, this echo of grandeur, might just elevate you, if only for a few precious hours. You walk with a little more purpose, a touch more grace, the faded indigo a quiet assertion of dignity in a world that often denies it. The rough silk chafes subtly at your neck, and the inadequate stays offer little true comfort, but you endure. This dress with its worn seams and faded glory is a silent promise, a whisper of a different life. It's the enduring allure of beauty, even if it's borrowed, even if it comes with its own subtle pains and compromises, a quiet testament to the human spirit's relentless desire for something more, for a touch of elegance in a world that often affords so little. The color hits you first, a startling, almost aggressive shade of purple. It's a mauve so vivid, so utterly unnatural, it seems to hum with its own peculiar energy. It smells faintly metallic, a subtle chemical tang beneath the usual linen and starch, a scent that speaks not of flowers or earth but of laboratories and industrial processes. You pull the muslin over your head, feeling the light, airy fabric settle around you, the brilliant color instantly dominating your field of vision, almost overwhelming. As the dress falls into place, a subtle warmth spreads across your skin where the fabric touches, a curious sensation. It's not an itch like the arsenic green, more a gentle, persistent hum, a feeling of being enveloped by something entirely new, entirely manufactured. The gaslight in the dressing room seems to intensify the color, making it practically glow, casting a faint purple tint on your pale skin. Your maid, usually stoic, pauses for a moment, her eyes wide with a mixture of awe and something akin to apprehension as she fastens the last button. You turn to the mirror and it's almost dizzying. You are a beacon of purple, a walking embodiment of a bold, new era. This isn't the soft, muted colors of natural dyes. This is something altogether different, a triumphant declaration of human ingenuity. Yet, beneath the visual spectacle, the air around you seems subtly charged, almost electric with the sheer intensity of the hue. You feel your corset, as always, compressing your ribs, making your breaths shallow, but even that familiar discomfort seems momentarily dwarfed by the vibrant audacity of the dress. This mauve, you realize, is a color of disruption, a signal of change, a bold statement against the subdued palettes of the past. It's not just a beautiful dress, it's a living testament to a synthetic world taking hold, a world where science can conjure colors from coal tar. And as you stand there, bathed in its unnatural glow, you feel a thrill, a sense of being at the very forefront of modernity. But there's also a subtle unease, a whisper of the artificial, a question of what other hidden costs, what other unseen transformations this dazzling new world might yet demand. It's a thrilling, yet unsettling embrace of the entirely man-made. You step out of the carriage, the vivid mauve of your dress a startling punctuation mark against the grey London street, still humming with that subtle chemical tang. The air is thick with the usual city smells, horse dung, wet soot, stale ale, but something else catches your eye, a different kind of vibrant. It's in the faces of the crowd, a kaleidoscope of colours previously unseen in such profusion. You walk, your corset a familiar, constricting embrace, making your elegant progress a series of careful, shallow breaths. But your gaze is drawn not to the grand shop windows you usually frequent, but to the bustle of a narrower street where the working classes move. Here, amidst the muted browns and faded greys of worn wool, you spot flashes of intense color. A woman's bonnet adorned with ribbons dyed a brilliant fuchsia, a child's small sash a startling electric blue, even a shopkeeper's apron, a deep rich purple that mirrors the hue of your own costly gown, albeit in a coarser, cheaper fabric. It's a revolution, you realize, unfolding in plain sight. These colors, once reserved for royalty, for the very wealthiest who could afford rare and arduous natural dyes, are now everywhere. Chemistry, that mysterious, powerful science, has become the great equalizer. It has brought the spectacle of vibrant hues, once the exclusive domain of the privileged, to the ordinary man and woman. The sharp, vibrant shock of these synthetic shades on the common cloth creates a different kind of beauty, a democratic burst of color. You see a young woman, her face smudged with soot, but her shawl a defiant, startling orange, a shade that would have been unimaginable just a few years ago. You feel a strange mix of fascination and a fleeting sense of something lost. The exclusivity of such color, once a clear mark of your status, is now blurred, accessible to all. Yet there's also an undeniable thrill in witnessing this quiet transformation. The corset beneath your dress still dictates your posture, your constrained breathing, but the world around you, once so rigidly divided by color, now seems to pulse with a shared, democratic vibrancy. And in that moment, you understand that fashion isn't just about what you wear, but about the profound, often unexpected ways it reflects and reshapes the very fabric of society itself. You dip your fingertips into the small porcelain pot. The paste inside is thick, surprisingly heavy, a stark, opaque white that gleams dully in the morning light filtering through the window. It has a faint, almost metallic smell, sharp and strangely sweet, a scent that whispers of something unnerving beneath its smooth facade. You begin to apply it to your face, spreading the cool, creamy substance across your forehead, cheeks, and chin. Immediately, a distinct chill spreads across your skin, a clammy, heavy film that feels utterly unnatural. It tightens as it dries, pulling at the corners of your eyes and mouth, leaving your face feeling stiff, almost mask-like. You try to smile, a polite practice gesture, but your lips feel strangely unresponsive, the expression fixed and slightly strained. The paste is unforgiving, settling into every fine line, every subtle imperfection, transforming your natural complexion into an alabaster canvas, devoid of warmth or natural flush. You peer closely into the small hand mirror. Your skin is impossibly pale now, a luminous, almost ghostly white devoid of any hint of color. It's the prized look, of course, the mark of delicate refinement of a lady who spends her days indoors, far from the coarsening sun. Yet under the surface you feel a subtle irritation, a persistent itch that you dare not scratch, knowing it would mar the perfect, unblemished surface. The metallic tang of the cosmetic seems to deepen, almost clinging to the back of your throat, a constant, unsettling reminder of its presence. Your maid steps closer, her eyes scanning your face critically before nodding in approval. You look the part. You are a living portrait of delicate beauty, a perfect pale canvas. But beneath the flawless exterior, your skin feels suffocated, unnaturally cold, and strangely alien. This lead-based cream, this coveted beauty secret, is not just adorning you. It's slowly, subtly transforming you from the inside out. And as you prepare to face the day, you realize that the pursuit of this idealized beauty comes with an intimate, insidious cost, a slow, quiet sacrifice of your own natural vitality for the sake of an alluring, yet ultimately chilling perfection. The gaslight in the drawing room casts a warm, soft glow, but your face, coated in its leaden film, remains stubbornly pale, almost luminous. You feel the unyielding tightness of the cosmetic, a dry, clammy mask that restricts your natural expressions, forcing a serene, almost detached mien. A faint, persistent metallic taste lingers at the back of your throat, a quiet, unsettling reminder of the white paste you applied, the lead you knowingly smoothed onto your skin. It's a bitter counterpoint to the sweet lily-of-the-valley perfume clinging to your dress. You observe the other ladies, their complexions similarly pale, their lips painted a delicate, almost startling crimson. Their eyes, though bright, often hold a subtle shadow, a hint of weariness that belies the radiant, unblemished surface of their skin. It's the ideal, you understand, this delicate pallor, this fragile appearance. It whispers of a life of leisure, of delicate health, even perversely of the romanticized frailty associated with consumption, the very illness that claims so many in these crowded cities. This carefully cultivated sickness, a bizarre aspiration, is etched onto every face. Your corset, as always, restricts your breathing, making each inhale a shallow, conscious effort. But now, coupled with the suffocating mask on your face, the air feels even thinner, harder to draw in. You feel a subtle throbbing behind your eyes, a dull ache that has become a familiar companion, a constant, low-grade protest from your body against the beauty you inflict upon it. This isn't just about looking elegant, it's about embodying an entire aesthetic, a perilous beauty that blurs the lines between vitality and illness, between life and a slow, alluring decay. Later, alone in your boudoir, you begin the careful ritual of removing the lead. As you rub the cold cream into your skin, the white paste mixes with the grime of the day, turning your cloth a disturbing grey. You see the faint, red marks where the corset has pressed, the subtle indentations on your ribs, and you think of the warnings, the whispers of lead poisoning, of fading beauty, of the slow, insidious toll this secret poison takes. Yet, as you look at your cleansed but still pale face, you know you will do it again tomorrow. The societal demand for this fragile, almost consumptive ideal, this alluring mask of delicacy, is too potent to ignore. It's a silent, daily pact with danger, a beautiful, deadly secret you carry within you for the sake of an image. The sharp asterisk thwack asterisk of the tennis ball against the racket strings echoes across the manicured lawn, a bright, energetic sound that seems to mock the growing constriction in your chest. The air is warm, thick with the scent of freshly cut grass and the faint, sweet perfume of blossoming roses from the nearby garden. You're dressed in what passes for sporting attire. A lighter gown, certainly, but still with the familiar, unyielding corset laced tightly beneath, and a smaller, less cumbersome crinoline providing just enough volume to maintain propriety. You swing the racket, a delicate, almost balletic movement designed more for grace than power. The effort, even this small one, sends a jolt through your restricted torso. Your lungs, compressed and fighting for space, struggle to pull in enough oxygen. You feel a distinct, sharp pain as the steel bones of your corset dig into your lower ribs with the sudden twist. A gasp escapes your lips, a raw, involuntary sound that is quickly swallowed by the polite applause from the spectators gathered under the shade of a large oak. Your partner, a handsome young man, offers a concerned glance, but you quickly recover, forcing a bright, breathless smile. The next ball comes a little faster this time. You pivot, a clumsy, constrained movement that feels less like a lunge and more like a stiff, marionette-like twitch. The world blurs at the edges for a moment, a wave of dizziness washing over you. Your breath is coming in short, shallow pants now, each one a desperate plea for air that your compressed lungs simply cannot grant. The fine linen of your bodice is growing damp with perspiration, clinging unpleasantly to your skin, trapping the heat against your torso. Your hair, meticulously pinned, feels loose, a few stray tendrils escaping and sticking to your clammy forehead. You miss the shot, the ball sailing wide, a quiet "oh dear" from the sidelines. You force another smile, your cheeks flushed, not from exertion but from a profound sense of suffocation. This sport, this charming pastime, is an absurdity, a polite farce played out in elegant, restrictive clothing. You are meant to look graceful, perhaps even a little daring, but never truly exert yourself, never truly *play. The corset, the ultimate arbiter of female elegance, has turned even the simplest physical activity into a breathless, painful performance. And as you stand there, gasping for air, you realize the extent of the sacrifice, the quiet agony of striving for an ideal that denies the very essence of a living, breathing body. The taste of iron and something vaguely metallic lingers on your tongue, a bitter aftermath of your desperate gasping for air on the tennis court. The scent of freshly cut grass, once so pleasant, now feels cloying, mixing with the dampness of your own perspiration that still clings to your skin beneath the corset. You stand slightly unsteady on the edge of the lawn, clutching your racket as if it were a life raft. The polite murmur of conversation from the spectators seems distant, almost judgmental, a hushed critique of your less than graceful performance. You feel a profound sense of exhaustion, not just in your limbs but deep within your chest, where your lungs still protest against their confinement. The steel bones of the corset dig in sharply, a cruel reminder of its unyielding presence, even in this supposedly active setting. You catch a glimpse of another lady, her own lighter sporting dress still impeccably neat, her movements seemingly effortless. But as she turns, you notice a subtle clenching in her jaw, a fleeting look of strain in her eyes that betrays a similar internal battle. It's a shared secret, this silent struggle for breath, for ease, for true, uninhibited movement. Something stirs within you, a quiet but insistent defiance. The absurdity of it all, this elaborate pantomime of sport, this elegant suffering, suddenly feels pointless. The image of the ideal woman, demure, fragile, eternally poised, seems to falter, its edges blurring. The sheer physical demand of simply being in this body, in these clothes, has exposed a fundamental flaw in the armor of femininity, a crack in the carefully constructed facade. You watch a child, a boy, tumble freely on the grass, his shouts of joy unburdened, his body moving with an easy, natural grace that you, in your elegant cage, can only dream of. The thought is fleeting, a rebellious spark against years of conditioning, but it's there. A sudden, profound questioning of the cost of this beauty, this perfection. The corset, the tight shoes, the restrictive dresses, they aren't just external layers. They are internalized expectations, woven into the very fabric of your existence. But here, on the tennis court, gasping for breath, something has shifted. The pain is not just physical. It's a growing awareness, a silent protest from a body yearning for freedom. And in that quiet moment, you feel the first true cracks appearing in the armor, a dawning realization that perhaps, just perhaps, the price of this prescribed femininity is simply too high. The heat of the London summer presses down, a thick, stifling blanket that seems to trap every foul odor and magnify it tenfold. You step out of the carriage and the smell hits you immediately, a sickening, visceral punch to the gut. It's the Thames in all its putrid glory. A pervasive stench of raw sewage, rotting fish, stagnant water, and something indefinably vile rises from the river, mingling with the heavy city air, turning your stomach. It's a smell that feels almost tangible, an invisible, suffocating shroud. Instinctively, your gloved hand reaches into your reticule, pulling out a small, lace-edged handkerchief, liberally doused in lavender water. You press it to your nose, inhaling deeply, desperately trying to replace the overwhelming reek with the delicate, soothing floral scent, but it's a losing battle. The lavender, usually so potent, feels utterly inadequate, a tiny, fragile shield against a tidal wave of filth. You can still taste the foulness in the back of your throat, a metallic, bitter tang that makes you want to gag. Around you, others are engaged in the same desperate ritual. Ladies, their faces pale beneath their bonnets, hold similar scented handkerchiefs to their noses, their expressions a grim mixture of disgust and forced composure. Gentlemen, their starched collars unyielding, carry small silver vinaigrettes sniffing at pungent salts. The air is alive with a cacophony of gentle coughs, stifled gags, and the rustle of fabric as people try to turn away, to find some momentary respite from the assault. Your corset, already tight, now feels utterly suffocating, trapping the hot, foul air against your body, making each shallow breath feel like a small act of endurance. You try to focus on the Grand Parliament building, its imposing facade rising majestically against the smoky sky, but the sheer, overwhelming power of the Great Stink dominates every sense. It's a humbling, visceral reminder of the fragile veneer of civility, of the raw, untamed reality of this sprawling, industrial city. This elegant handkerchief, this delicate barrier, is not just a fashion accessory. It's a desperate act of survival, a futile attempt to maintain dignity and sanity in the face of an inescapable, truly abominable stench. And as you clamp it tighter to your face, you realize how utterly powerless even the most refined elegance becomes when confronted with the unfiltered, undeniable truth of the world. The stench of the Thames follows you, an invisible, insidious cloud that seems to cling to your very clothes, to your hair, to the delicate lace of your handkerchief. You pull the carriage window up, a futile gesture against the pervasive reek, but the lingering memory of the smell remains, a metallic, cloying taste in the back of your throat. Even the polished leather of the carriage interior, usually so comforting, seems unable to block out the unpleasant reality of the city. You smooth your gloved hand over your elegant silk gown, feeling the fine fabric, a barrier that for once feels utterly porous, utterly useless. Your corset, usually a symbol of control and refinement, now feels like a cruel joke, trapping the hot, foul air close to your body, making your shallow breaths feel even more desperate. The carefully constructed layers of your dress, designed to create a magnificent silhouette, suddenly feel like a heavy burden, a physical manifestation of your inability to escape the city's harsh truths. You recall the elegant ladies on the promenade, their faces veiled by lace and scented handkerchiefs, a poignant image of fashion's desperate, futile attempt to insulate itself from the raw, urban reality. You pass by a row of tenement houses, their windows dark, their brickwork crumbling. From a narrow alleyway, a gust of wind carries with it a different set of smells: stale cabbage, unwashed bodies, the sharp, acidic tang of poverty. It's a stark, visceral reminder that your carefully constructed world of beauty and propriety exists precariously on the edge of a very different, far less fragrant reality. Your exquisite gown, your perfectly laced corset, your delicate accessories, they all feel like a thin, fragile shield against the overwhelming grittiness of London. This is the moment you realize when fashion fails. When the beauty, the pain, the elaborate rituals all become secondary to the fundamental, undeniable truth of an inescapable, often unpleasant world. Your carefully cultivated elegance, your adherence to every stricture of Victorian society, offers no true protection against the raw, unadorned reality of a city choked by its own burgeoning life. And as you lean back against the carriage's plush velvet, still tasting the Thames, still breathing the city's fetid air, you understand that no amount of silks, no amount of perfume, can truly insulate you from the visceral, undeniable truth of your surroundings. The city, in all its brutal reality, has found a way to penetrate even the most formidable armor of fashion, leaving you exposed, raw, and utterly human. The rough, scratchy sensation against your skin is immediate, an unwelcome greeting. You pull the heavy flannel chemise over your head, feeling its dense weave settle, a substantial weight that seems to drag down your shoulders. It smells faintly of laundered soap and stale warmth, a scent that speaks of constant wear and diligent washing. This isn't the delicate cotton of your finer underthings. This is the workhorse of winter, the uncompromising first layer against the unforgiving cold. As you smooth the fabric down, a subtle itch begins, a persistent, low-grade irritation that spreads across your chest, arms, and back. It's not fierce, but it's constant, a relentless whisper against your skin that you try to ignore, knowing it will be trapped beneath further layers. Then come the flannel drawers, thick and unyielding, pulled up over your legs, their rough seams pressing against your thighs. You feel completely encased, bundled, your body already radiating a trapped heat even before the day truly begins. Your maid, with her usual efficiency, reaches for your corset. You take a final, deep, unhindered breath, knowing it's your last for hours. As she laces, the flannel undergarments bunch slightly, adding to the already immense pressure, the rough fabric pushing against your compressed skin. Your corset, usually the primary source of discomfort, now feels like just another layer in this oppressive onion of clothing, each adding its own peculiar form of burden. Your movements feel stiff, muffled, the flannel absorbing any fluid grace, turning every shift of weight into a ponderous effort. You stand before the mirror, your outward silhouette elegant, refined, utterly impervious to the biting winter air. No one seeing you would guess the unseen layers, the scratchy flannel beneath the silk and wool, the constant, low-grade irritation of a body battling against its own protective covering. This is the hidden reality of Victorian fashion, the practical, unglamorous truth of staying warm. The flannel, you realize, provides warmth certainly, but it also exacts a quiet, relentless toll, a constant, low-grade discomfort that serves as a secret physical backdrop to the elegant performance of your daily life. And as you prepare for another day, you feel the familiar itch, a constant, unspoken reminder of the hidden burdens. The soft click of the last hook, the gentle sigh of fabric against fabric, these are the sounds that herald true freedom, the quiet signals that the day's elaborate performance is drawing to a close. You stand still and weary in the hushed intimacy of your boudoir, the faint scent of stale rosewater and day-old perspiration mingling in the air. Your maid, her face a picture of calm efficiency, begins the careful, almost ceremonial act of unlacing. You feel the first tug on the silken cords at your back, a familiar, welcome tension releasing. Each loosened eyelet is a tiny, physical exhalation. The steel bones of your corset, which have held your torso in an unyielding vice all day, begin to give, allowing a subtle, almost imperceptible outward swell of your ribs. It's not an immediate burst of freedom, no. The layers are still there, a veritable armor. The heavy silk gown is first, carefully lifted over your head, its rustling folds a soft sigh as it peels away, revealing the voluminous petticoats beneath. Then comes the crinoline, a skeletal dome of steel and cotton. With another gentle tug, it's released, collapsing around your ankles with a quiet, dry whisper like a deflating balloon. Immediately, your legs feel an unfamiliar lightness, a sudden, almost disorienting expanse of personal space. You can move your knees, can shift your weight without the cumbersome, engineered obstacle of its rigid frame. But it's the corset, always the corset, that holds the true essence of the transformation. With each successive looseness of the laces, your body responds slowly, tentatively. You feel your lungs expand, tentatively at first, then with increasing hunger pulling in a deep, satisfying breath, a gasp of truly unhindered air, a luxury denied to you for countless hours. It fills your chest, stretching your muscles, a profound physical relief that almost brings tears to your eyes. The tightness around your diaphragm eases and you feel the true curve of your waist, the natural, soft indentation returning. Your skin, where the corset pressed relentlessly, is warm and slightly damp, crisscrossed with faint red lines, the unmistakable imprint of steel bones and taut lacing, a temporary map of your day's beautiful prison. The rough flannel chemise, your hidden undergarment, now feels less irritating, softened by the day's wear, damp with perspiration, but a comfort in its honesty. You pull it over your head, feeling the cool air against your bare skin, a fleeting, exquisite sensation. Finally, truly free, you stand naked before the mirror, your body no longer a construct of fashion, but a living, breathing form, still bearing the ghosts of its adornments. Your ribs still feel the echo of their compression, your back aches with the memory of its enforced posture, but you are you again, unburdened. Yet, as you prepare for bed, a quiet, almost unsettling thought emerges. This elaborate ritual of shedding layers, of reclaiming your body, is merely a temporary reprieve, for when the morning light filters through the curtains, the whole process will begin anew. The chemise, the corset, the petticoats, the gown, each piece carefully chosen, each discomfort willingly endured. It's a perpetual cycle, this intricate dance between comfort and constraint, between the true self and the carefully constructed image. And in that daily transformation, you realize the enduring power of fashion, not just to define an era, but to profoundly reshape the very lives and the very bodies that inhabit it. You are a masterpiece of presentation, a prisoner of expectation, and utterly beautifully human. The dress falls around you light and loose, a whisper of fine wool that barely brushes your skin. There's no maid, no struggle with laces, no rigid steel bones pressing against your ribs. It's a simple flowing garment, a muted practical grey that smells faintly of fresh air and newly spun yarn. As it settles, you take a breath, a deep, full, exhilarating breath that expands your lungs completely, filling your chest with an astonishing, unexpected ease. It's a liberation, a physical exhalation of years of constraint, a breath that feels so profoundly yours. You move your shoulders, a free, unrestricted roll that sends a shiver of pure, unadulterated comfort through your frame. Your waist, unrestrained by a corset, feels soft, pliable, utterly natural. You can bend, you can twist, you can lift your arms high above your head without a single seam pulling, a single bone digging in. The absence of friction, of pressure, of layers upon layers of heavy fabric is almost dizzying. It's a sensation so unfamiliar, so profoundly simple that it feels revolutionary. You step outside into the bracing morning air of the countryside and begin to walk. The hem of your dress swishes gently around your ankles, a soft, yielding rustle that feels like an invitation, not a restriction. You can lengthen your stride, can step over a fallen branch with ease, without the fear of snagging a crinoline or tripping over voluminous skirts. The ground beneath your sensible boots feels firm, direct, a tangible connection that was always muffled by layers of fashion. The world around you, no longer blurred by pain or constricted by a shallow breath, seems sharper, clearer, more vibrant. This isn't just a new dress, it's a new body, a new way of inhabiting the world. The freedom of movement, the ability to breathe deeply, to feel the natural rhythm of your own body, it's a revelation. You catch a glimpse of your reflection in a still puddle, a figure unburdened, unadorned by the intricate artifice of the age. There is no tiny waist, no elevated bust, no sweeping drama of fabric. Instead, there is a natural, unforced elegance, a quiet dignity born of comfort and ease. And as you walk, each step a testament to newfound liberty, you understand that this rational dress isn't just a rejection of fashion. It's a profound reclamation of self, a silent, powerful declaration that the true beauty lies in the unfettered human form, in the exhilarating, simple act of breathing free. The fresh, crisp air of the park swirls around you, carrying the distant laughter of children and the gentle rustle of leaves. Your rational dress, simple and unadorned, allows for an exhilarating freedom of movement. You stride forward, each step long and uninhibited, your lungs expanding fully with every breath, a sensation of pure, untainted oxygen filling your chest. No corset, no crinoline, no layers to impede. It's glorious, truly. But then you feel it, the subtle shift in the air, the prickle of eyes upon you. A group of elegantly dressed ladies, their corseted figures rigid and impossibly small-waisted, pause their stroll. Their gazes are direct, sharp, traveling from your sensible boots, up the straight, unyielding line of your dress to your unadorned hair. You feel the weight of their silent judgment, a collective disapproval that cuts sharper than any corset bone. A soft, disdainful titter rises from one of them, quickly stifled, but the message is clear. You are an anomaly, an affront to their meticulously constructed world of beauty and propriety. You are quite simply ridiculous. You try to ignore it, to focus on the sheer, undeniable comfort of your clothing, the effortless ease of your stride. But the stares persist, the whispered comments, the veiled smiles. You are a spectacle, an unintentional revolutionary, and the social ridicule stings, a cold, unwelcome slap against your newfound freedom. It feels as if your very breath, so recently liberated, is now under scrutiny, a subversive act in itself. This comfort, this naturalness, is not a virtue here, it's a transgression. This isn't just about clothes, you realize with a pang. It's about challenging an entire system, an ingrained way of life that dictates every curve, every breath, every movement of a woman's body. To be comfortable, to be unrestrained, is to reject a fundamental tenet of their femininity, to question the very ideal they embody painstakingly, painfully. It's a fight, not just for a new wardrobe, but for a new kind of body, a new way of existing in the world. And as you walk on, head held high, the sun warm on your unburdened shoulders, you know that this path to true liberation, however liberating your clothes might feel, is fraught with the constant, unsettling chill of social disapproval, a silent battle waged with every free, defiant step. The smooth, cool cotton of this new corset wraps around you, a sensation subtly distinct from the familiar, older styles. There's an unyielding, flat busk pressing firmly against your abdomen, pushing inwards with a quiet insistence. As your maid expertly begins to lace, you feel the familiar tightening taking on a new, more forceful direction. The pressure isn't just inward as it once was. It's a powerful arching, designed to push your bust high and dramatically forward, while simultaneously forcing your hips back. It's a deliberate, almost architectural construction, bending your entire torso into a striking, exaggerated shape. The air around you, usually scented simply with rosewater, now carries a faint whiff of starched linen and the sharp, metallic tang of newly fashioned steel. You try to take a breath and it feels subtly repositioned, pulled higher in your chest, almost shallow despite your effort. Your spine, accustomed to a straight, rigid line, now feels compelled into a pronounced, unnatural curve. Your shoulders are automatically thrown back, your chin slightly elevated, almost imperiously. You attempt to look down, but your head feels fixed, as if encased, and a slight strain begins to throb at the very base of your neck. It's an elegant posture, certainly one of refined grace, but it's a poise that demands constant, subtle muscular effort to maintain. You glance in the full-length mirror and the reflection is startling. You are a dramatic, almost theatrical silhouette, a woman shaped less by nature and more by an elaborate, fashionable artifice, a living sculpture of a passing era. Walking feels like a peculiar, controlled glide, almost a delicate balancing act. Your weight shifts in an unfamiliar way, the pronounced curve in your lower back feeling strangely unsupported, while your chest, pushed forward, seems to lead your every movement. A servant passes by, their eyes briefly flicking to your new form, and you catch a flicker of appreciation, perhaps, or a hint of fascinated curiosity. There's no denying the visual impact. It's bold, undeniably striking, a powerful, almost defiant statement of adherence to the latest fashion. But beneath the facade of effortless grace, a new set of physical discomforts emerges. A persistent, dull ache begins in your lower back, a constant protest against the forced curve. Your stomach, accustomed to some compression, now feels entirely flattened, pushing uncomfortably up against your diaphragm and lungs. This spend corset, the very latest decree from the fashion houses of Paris, is designed to be the absolute pinnacle of feminine elegance. Yet, as you adjust your posture, finding the delicate balance required to simply stand still, you understand it not just as a garment, but as a new form of beautiful pain. It's a striking silhouette, yes, a testament to an era's relentless, almost desperate pursuit of an idealized beauty. But it also feels like the final, most extreme contortion of a fading age, a dramatic reshaping of the body, as if to cling to a rigid ideal even as the world around it begins to subtly, irrevocably shift towards a new, more flexible dawn. You are perfectly curved, utterly fashionable, and profoundly, painfully forced into an unnatural, exquisite form, a living monument to a dying aesthetic. You stand before the full-length mirror in the quiet of your own room, the evening's modern clothes now discarded. The cool air brushes your bare skin, a true, unburdened freedom you sometimes take for granted. You raise your arms, stretch, your muscles responding freely, unhindered by bone or whalebone. Yet, as you breathe deeply, a strange phantom ache seems to linger where a corset once gripped, a ghostly memory of forced constriction. Your eyes fall to your reflection, and there it is. A subtle, almost unconscious critique of your own natural form, a shadow of an ideal inherited from another time, from the very eras we've explored together. You think back to those Victorian women, their ribs reshaped, their breath stolen, their very existence dictated by fabric and steel. They chased a tangible ideal, a beauty enforced by brute force of fashion and societal decree. Today, the actual wires might be gone, the whalebone consigned to museums, no made to cinch you into an impossible hourglass. But the pressure, that still hums, doesn't it, louder perhaps in the cacophony of modern media. You see it in glossy magazines, on the moving pictures of the screen, and in the relentless scroll of social media, subtly influencing even the most casual clothing lines. The pursuit of a certain shape, a flawless surface, an ideal silhouette, persists with a relentless quiet intensity. It's a different kind of lacing, perhaps more invisible, more insidious, woven into the very fabric of expectation, rather than stitched into a satin corset. But the underlying impulse, the willingness to contort, to suffer for an idealized vision of feminine beauty that remains, an echo across the centuries. As you turn from the mirror, a profound weariness, almost an ancient echo, settles upon you. The struggle for beauty, the silent pains endured, the ever-shifting goalposts of perfection, it's a timeless dance that spans generations. You realize that in every age, in every reflection, we continue to negotiate the delicate, often painful boundary between who we are inherently and authentically, and who the world or even our own minds insists we should be. It's a powerful, inescapable legacy that continues to shape us, influencing our bodies and our very perception of self, long after the last Victorian corset has been unlaced. The threads of history, you understand, are still sewn into the clothes we wear and the bodies we inhabit.